what is your personal, very own greatest festival experience? A, from which band you may have seen at a festival, and B, a bit of a funny story from a festival.
God, there's so many. I've been doing this so long. There's one they have in Australia called the Big Day Out, which is amazing because, it's in their summer, and you're in hotels on the beach everywhere you go. So you can imagine, and you only play like every other day. And we were on a tour with like Nick Cave and Porno for Pyros and all these people. And you're all in the same hotel, and so you would get up, have some coffee, go swim in the ocean, and then let's see, are we playing tonight? Nah. And so that was pretty wonderful. That was with the Jesus Lizard. Boy, who's that on the cover of over there? Is that a page 3 girl?
Let's have a look. Sorry, we're having a look at the page 3 at the moment. Let's have a look.
It's page 3, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Helen Flanagan from. She was in Coronation Street.
Now that is just terrible. I think it's sexist, and I can't believe anyone would want to look at that.
A noble man, clearly.
Let's
let's
get another look just to make sure that it's as reprehensible as I thought it was. That is just awful.
Helen Flanagan, you just got no-no'd by Duane Dennison at Tomahawk.
It's just awful that they would print things like that where children can see it.
We're not very corrupted, I can promise you that.
I'm sorry. But,
so,
where were we?
Where were we indeed?
Festivals, memorable things.
Funny moment.
A funny moment. It's funny. I just told this story earlier. Actually, it was at NME. Literally 20 years ago, and they had us at the signing tent. Okay. And we had just played, and I'm trashed, drinking, smoking, being, fuck yeah. And they were hauling, and this one cutie, very young and cute, and I was flirting, just awful, an awful lech, just flirting with this young fan, and I said, you're pretty cute. And he said, well, that's most unfortunate, because I'm a boy. Not that that's bad either, but you know what I mean? Not that that's the fact that he was a boy is bad. It's just that,
Would you say you're a born romantic?
Oh, yes. Just ask my wife. We got married when she was 8.5 months pregnant. Oh, can you imagine what a romantic wedding that was?
Did it have its stresses?
No, it was actually quite funny. She's like this, and it was like a hillbilly, shotgun wedding. Do they have those here?
No, like over here we just basically the weddings. There's two kind of weddings that you can get. You got your grand church weddings, which of course is like a lovely standard for any kind of very reputable wedding, or you get registry offices.
That's basically what we did. We had a service at a bed and breakfast, invited some friends. My wife is this pregnant. And I was at the time I was working for Gibson Guitar Company. And I came home and I realized, having a kid is expensive. And I had to register for insurance, but they wouldn't accept us unless we were married. And I only had 2 days to do it because the period would have run out by the time. So I came home and literally said, if we don't get married in 2 days, the insurance isn't going to cover that. And so I made her go get the paperwork while I just went back to work. So that's what a romantic I am.
A true gentleman.
Isn't that awful?
Not at all. A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
I'll make it up to her somehow. Because I'm a promise keeper. Do they have those here?
There's no promise keepers in the UK, I can tell you that.
It's like a southern thing where all these men, these fuck-ups who, they cheat on their wives and they're alcoholics and drug, and they all say, well, I'm going to keep my promises. And they get together in these conventions and have huge rallies. And promise keepers, and we're going to, it's pathetic.
Well, in the immortal words of Jane Brown, it is a man's world.